All good?
All good.
Good. Arne, should we start with the injuries? I'll go through them one by one. Alexander Isak.
Yeah, it's going to be a long press conference. Alex trains with us again. Only yesterday for the first time. Yeah, so that's positive. Let's see how. But yesterday he did parts of it, so hopefully he can do parts or everything today, and let's then see how much we're going to use him tomorrow.
Alisson and Mamardashvili.
Alisson, not yet. Doesn't train with us yet, but very close to. Giorgi will train with us today for the first time, so let's see how he's going to react.
And Mo?
Mo also not trains with us yet, but is also, like Ali, getting very, very, very close to train with us.
Obviously, we were here training on Wednesday as well, and Florian, Wirtz and Ibu were not out there. What's the situation with those two?
Ibu had a personal reason not to be there, but he was there yesterday and today again. And Florian was a bit unwell. You say, yeah, a bit unwell, but he trained with us yesterday also.
4 points needed to guarantee Champions League as it stands. Although looking at the goal difference, a win would probably seal it because you need a 9-goal swing with Bournemouth there. But what importance are you putting on? Not just getting over the line, but in terms of performances as well over the remaining 3 games?
Usually this goes hand in hand. If you have a good performance, that usually leads to a result. So that's why performances are very crucial and important. It's not always like that in football. Sometimes you can have a poor performance but still win. But over the long term, it helps. If your performance is good, then it helps you of picking up more points. But the first and main aim is qualify for Champions League. And I think we've shown this season that we need a good performance to get results, because the opposite has been true a lot of times, that we had a good performance but the result was not there. But we did not had many times a poor performance and still had the result. It's not the type of team we are. We are not that well in set pieces or holding on, defending with all we got. So we need to have a good performance usually to win a game of football.
So what are you expecting from Chelsea as well then, given their run of 8 consecutive defeats in the Premier League?
If information is correct, a few of their players that we've been really missing have come back. So it will probably be a stronger team than last week, if the players that they say are back are back. That will be massive for them, as it is for any team. If you miss out your best players, that's never helpful to get results. But it's always a difficult game for both teams because there's so much quality on both ends. So it doesn't matter that much at the moment, I think, how much you lost or how much you won. It's a game between a lot of very good individual players, and let's hope we have a very good team performance as well, because that usually helps individuals in being even better.
Good.
Arne, is it possible to know what to expect from Chelsea given the circumstance that they're in and the results that they've had as well?
Yeah, absolutely, because all managers have their own idea about football. They've had 3 this season, and I think the current manager is a bit closer to what Maresca usually did. So he has a very clear identity in how he plays. So it's exactly clear what to expect. It's usually the 3-box-3 they are playing with, and it depends a little bit with which players they are using, how they fill in the positions, but they have a very clear identity, as they had under Senior, but they also have a very clear identity under this manager.
Just to pick up on one of your answers from before as well, obviously you want to finish the season as well as possible. I just wonder how important it is for everyone around the club, how important it is to have as genuinely positive end to this season, considering the ups and downs that you've had at times, and just signing off in the right way ahead of next year.
No, I think the season has been gone in a way that even if we have 3 wins and 3 very positive results, I don't think everyone will still be positive about how we ended the season, how the season has been. So it's important that we, as I said now so many times, that we get that at least 1 win over the line which we think is enough to qualify. We're not sure because 4 points makes it completely clear. And that's what we need to do. And what we are trying, which we've tried the whole season, to do this in the best possible way performing-wise, which has not always happened, but has always been the aim. And no, the positive thing is that a few of the players that can be really important for us are either coming back for the weekend or after the weekend. So that can only help us to achieve what we want to achieve.
Do you not think that it would make a difference, though, to sign off with wins and lift the mood a little bit?
If I can choose, I prefer to win 3 times with 3 very good performances. Let that be clear. But that will not silence the criticism, or is that the word to use? So therefore we need to have a much longer run of good results and of good performances. But that's not where we are focused on now. The focus is on 3 more games. And next season will also be different in terms of personnel. So the focus for this team is now, after everything that we've been through, to qualify for Champions League.
Thank you.
Hi, Arne. I know you said on countless occasions recently that it has been a season overall of underperformance, but all the inquests can wait until the end of the season. And 3 good results between now and the times up for the season will improve things. Do you think maybe the players are being held back on occasions because of a lack of self-belief? Because you've told us on so many occasions the things that have gone wrong, and has that become a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy? So many things have gone wrong that it weighs heavy on the players.
No, I think it always weighs heavy on the players if you lose more games than you would want, especially at a club like this, because these players are used to winning. So the moment they start to lose, that's never a nice feeling to have, especially not if you play for this club. Underperformance clearly in the Premier League. We didn't pick up the points we should have picked up. Also, if you look performance-wise, and again, I'm not saying that we had a very good season in the Premier League, but we've played better and deserved more points than we were having for a few obvious reasons, which I will not go into now. And in the Champions League, I think we've performed at our standards. Number 3 in the group stage, beating Galatasaray and going out against Paris Saint-Germain. I think every team in the last 2 years have gone out when it's a 2 knockout game, so not 1 game, because Chelsea beat them in America. But if it's over 2 games, there's not one team that has been able to beat them over 2 games. So unfortunately, we weren't able to as well. Although at Anfield, we could have gone really close if the VAR would not have overturned the decision that usually has not been overturned by VARs.
Football is a risk and reward game, and your tactical standpoint, depending on where you sit, will go one way or the other. But what's going to enable the team to not be as vulnerable to counterattacks as you have been quite often this season, and certainly recently?
In moments we've been vulnerable in counterattacks. Yeah, it's not like we concede 10 counterattacks a game, or 8 or 7 or 6. We've at Manchester we conceded 2 counterattacks indeed, where one of the 2 went in. The other one was just almost close, so Bruno Fernandes. But I don't think that's the only thing we've been vulnerable at. When we are in a low block defending crosses, there are too many things we've been too vulnerable in moments. But it would also help if we would score more goals, because I think controlling the game from a 2-0 lead is always easier than being 1-0 down or 2-0 down or 1-1 or 2-2. So it's a mix of everything. And I said many times, it's for me very clear and obvious where we have to improve. And that's what we've tried to achieve throughout the whole season. It has worked with ups and downs, but it's definitely something we will address in the summer, where we think we can improve on the market and then afterwards on the training ground.
Thank you.
Carl?
Arne, hi. We know you're losing Mo and Andy Robertson in the summer, 2 senior players. And Mo, in interviews last week, spoke about the bond of the team was changing, or is changing. I'm just wondering, how much of a part you think that has played in this season in terms of, the team mentality?
Oh, there's a difference between bonding and mentality. So there's a difference in your question. When it comes to bonding, I think it makes complete sense that players that have played 6, 7, 8, 9 years with each other have more bonding than players that when there's a group of players that's new with each other. When it comes to the mentality, I think this team has shown this season many times that when we were in difficult circumstances, even last week again, United being 2-0 down at halftime, and again they showed the mentality to come back into the game, and actually deserved maybe in that moment when we were back in the game, when we were at 2-2. I'm not saying in the first half we didn't deserve to be up, but when we were at 2-2, we probably deserved to get the third goal, which we didn't get, which has happened also many times this season. But in terms of bonding, it makes complete sense to me that a team that has played years together has more bonding than a team that is new together. But bonding is a completely different word than mentality.
I tell you say about mentality, but is that something that can be injected into a squad? Your squad is quite young, or will be, when you lose 30-somethings like Mo and Andy. Your average age drops quite a bit as well. So is the mentality, the experience of football, is that something you can inject into your squad via the transfer market? Do you need that sort of embrace that experience?
For me, mentality has nothing to do with age. And I think because when Mo was 26 and these players were all in their prime, they were able to win the Champions League, to win the Premier League, to pick up 99 points. So you don't have to be 32 to know what standards means. And I think recently we have quite a good example of players that are not that old. The ones of Paris Saint-Germain, but definitely have the standards what it takes to win a game of football in terms of attacking with 11 and defending with 11. So for me, mentality has absolutely nothing to do with age, but more with the character of a player or the personality of the player. And of course, you can inject this in the transfer market, but we also have a lot of players, maybe all of them, that have the right mentality to play for this club.
Arne, when you mentioned earlier about changing personnel, and it kind of follows off into what you're talking about there with Mo and Robbo leaving. Do you worry that because you are going to add some players this summer, there's going to be more changes, big players leaving as well? Do you have any concerns it's going to be another season of kind of transition where those players are going to have to adapt? It will take time, as it has with certain players this season.
No, I'm only looking forward to it, so I have no worry at all. I'm looking forward to it. As I looked forward to working with these players 2 years ago and 1 year ago to look forward with the players I'm working with now. I think as your manager, you're never worried. You just look forward to starting working with a group of players. Indeed, it will be another little transition, probably not as drastic as it was last summer. But we have to change a bit of personnel because of the two players that are leaving, which we have to replace, where one of them will probably be replaced with Kostas Tsimikas because he's coming back off a loan. So no, I'm only looking forward to start again next season, but that's not my main aim at the moment. My main aim at the moment is getting over the line in the upcoming 3 games. And then go on a holiday. And when I'm on holiday, I'm already with a lot of energy looking forward to next season, which then it's going to take me 3, 4 or 5 weeks before every player is back from the World Cup. But that's everywhere the same. The only difference is maybe that we have a lot of changes where other teams usually add players to what they are having. When we talk about the Premier League. In other leagues, it's players go and players come in the Premier League, it's usually adding.
I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier about how the team has to be playing well to pick up points, and they aren't as good at maybe holding on and defending against in a tight situation. I wonder what you think has changed from last season, because last season you were very good at doing that, holding on to a 1-goal lead like 15 to 20 minutes to go, including the game against Chelsea last season. So obviously there are some different players, but there's still quite a lot of the same squad who were there last season. So I wonder what you think has changed.
I don't think we've had a lead as many times as we had last season, but I'm not completely sure if that's true, because last season I've also heard a lot of times that after halftime we came out better than in the first half. which is maybe still the situation, because also at Old Trafford we were a bit better the second half than the first half. Although the main difference was that in the second half we got 2 goals from United where we gave away 2 in the first half. But from open play over 90 minutes we've hardly created a chance. So when people say the second half was so much better than the first half, I'm like, okay. I think we dominated both halves in terms of ball possession, but we hardly created a chance from open play in both halves. Where in the second half, as I said, we got 2 goals of them in terms of a good high press in both situations, but 2 big mistakes of them. Where we in the first half made these mistakes with them scoring goals. So, I cannot tell you exactly, and if I could, I don't think this is the place to tell you exactly what my take on that is. That will maybe be clearer after the summer.
So do you think it might be that a new set of players coming in will help change some of those things? I know you're not going to go into them.
No. Always new players always change things. That's what we've seen last season as well. So if you have different players, different profiles, that also means usually that you see in details things are different than they were, which make complete sense because you always play to the strength of your players. At least that's what you try. And it depends on who we can bring in, how things will exactly look next season. But that there are definitely things we have to improve. You guys are already mentioning a few, and I have a few more. That's completely clear.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Arne. Obviously, you're facing the same difficulties like against Man United at the front. No Ekitike, no Mo, Isak, doubt, maybe Wirtz, unwell, but let's say he will play. So in these circumstances, will you ask more attacking contribution from Dominik?
I always ask for attacking contribution from Dominik, which he gave us last week because he was involved in both goals. Doesn't matter where he plays. If he plays as a fullback, I still ask this from him because it's one of his qualities to add that to the team. But it's completely clear if you miss out on so many goals because Mo, Alex, Hugo. Now, I think Flo is available, but let's see how he is today. Of course, you miss out on a lot of goals, but there are all still players available for us that can score goals. And it's not that we need 10 goals tomorrow. At least that's not what I expect. We need a good performance, and I think we have more than only these 3 or 4 players that can score a goal from us, for us. I think this season has showed that our goals are quite spread around all players, where last season we were much more dependent on Mo, although Cody and Lucio scored a lot of goals as well, and maybe some others. But this season has been much more spread, so yeah.
Arne, just please check on Conor Bradley. Would you expect to have him back for the start of pre-season, or is that going to drag on beyond that?
I think, I not think this is what they tell me. In a rehab, it's always really important in certain steps if they go well or they don't go well, and it's really difficult in the stage where he's in now to predict exactly when he will be back. That will be by margins. So he's still inside. He works really hard to make the right steps, but he's at this moment quite far away of already going outside, and that makes it quite complicated to tell how long it's going to take.
Thank you.
You're welcome.